You are tuning into the Unprofessional Marketing Series. This is a series of 8 conversations where I am interviewing experts in their fields to talk about marketing strategies that the gurus don't teach you. So tune in and listen to these experts as they share advice on how you can market your business unprofessionally. Oh, this is such a good episode, and I cannot wait for you all to listen because this is a marketing powerhouse platform that I think gets written off as being too intimidating for the average entrepreneur. I am very excited to introduce our next guest, and also you'll notice this is the first man we've had on the Unprofessional Entrepreneur. So if you've been intrigued by YouTube and you've seen Jamar tagged all over threads for his low lift club, this is the episode for you. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and happy listening. All right, could you introduce yourself to everyone, please?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamar Diggs. I am a YouTube marketing consultant for service providers, and I really help them leverage YouTube as a marketing funnel and sales system in their business. So, to put quite plainly, I help them use YouTube to get them more leads, sales, and clients. And I do it through this very specific way that is very much so targeted to business owners and not following the regular influencer blueprint or content creator roadmap that people feel like they have to go through when they try to do YouTube. I show them that there's another way, a low lift way to doing YouTube for business.
I love that because I'm all about low lift marketing. I am literally changing my marketing as we speak to be like no more social media focused, except for threads because I'm obsessed. But I think a lot of my listeners are going to like that because, you know, they're like me. They want low lift marketing strategies. I'm curious though, how did you get into YouTube? Like what was your pathway to YouTube strategist?
Yeah, so I first started out as a social media specialist for homes.com and front.com, where I managed around about 200 real estate agents accounts at one time. And a little bit after like a year of doing that, I wanted to kind of do something more. I wanted to really help people because like when you work for certain corporations, you have a very productized service that you feel like, oh, it's not really doing what I know social media could do for people. And so I ended up making my own business on the side. And that was like my first step inside 2014, where I created like a YouTube management business. Of course, I was charging like peanuts, and I was like, this sucks, fuck this, nobody wants to pay me. It was like, so, mind you, I set my own prices.
Yes.
But so then I went into social media coaching, right? And so, cause at that point, and keep in mind, this is like 2015 or so, to where I'm like, coaches just talk on Zoom all day, and I just am, and I quickly realized that was not the case. And but as I was doing like social media coaching, I knew that if I'm not doing a service for someone, I need to build, and I'm just kind of like coaching, I need to build like my own presence. I knew that I needed to build my own authority so people could really trust me. And the way that I'm talking about it right now is so intellectualized, but when I did it in the past, I just subconsciously did it. I just was like, I should show people that I know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna start a YouTube channel and just like talk about marketing. Right. And YouTube became like that thing that I was just really, really comfortable doing. Like I knew that I wanted to do some type of like video marketing thing, because like that's where I thought that I shined. Mind you, I was probably so nervous, so weird, so awkward on camera, but I just knew this was the move for me. Over time, I worked full time at a mortgage company, Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, where I became their digital marketing strategist and implemented a whole bunch of initiatives over there, like doing their YouTube channel over there as well. And it started like attracting the right kind of leads over there too. And a little bit over inside March of 2020, after 5 years of working at Atlantic Big Mortgage Group, I decided to kind of just do my business full time. And when I did that, it was a week before we shut down in the pandemic. And I was like, shoot, was this the right decision? But I started getting clients, and I started getting clients from YouTube by like surprise. And people were watching my YouTube videos, opting into my lead magnets, buying my tripwire, and then in a few days asking me to like coach them. And some of them were paying in full. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is magical. And what I thought was magic back then, it was actually just strategy. And I was just good at it, but I never was able to see the full cycle because it wasn't my business that I was doing it with other companies. And so it was so nice to see like the full customer journey in my own business. And so over time, I ended up focusing more into YouTube because that's what lit me up. And I felt like that there was such an opportunity to share what happened to me with other people and to show them how I was able to make this happen consistently. And then here we are today.
I love that because it sounds like you were using YouTube from the start to market your business. And I think that a lot of people feel like YouTube is a later stage investment, a later stage marketing strategy. Like once you're already established and know your things and have your life together, that you then can be on YouTube. So I'm curious, do you think there's a phase that people should be at or need to be at before getting on YouTube? Or do you think YouTube can be like from the start of your business?
So that's a really good question. I would say that YouTube should not be something that someone will start out with when they're just starting to like run their business or like kind of learn what their audience needs. If their goal is to use YouTube for lead generation, if you just want to get your name out there and you're just trying to like do something, you know what I'm saying? I would add YouTube and some other platform together, maybe not make YouTube your main platform quite yet, right? And that's just because if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know your ideal clients, if you don't know what they need to know from you, you're just kind of just making very general shit that may be helpful and may not be helpful. And so and a lot of times when people are first starting their business, they need to make money now. And so YouTube is if you so YouTube is not that platform that's like you're going to make money now, right? Like where it's like with Instagram or Threads, you make a post and and there's a chance that you could probably like get someone to work with you in the DM or something quite quickly. So I typically, because I know with business owners time is money, I typically recommend them starting YouTube when they know what they're doing, when they have a proven system or process of way of working with people, and where they know their target audience very intimately. And so that kind of information can translate over into video content, and their thought leadership can really shine even when it's a how-to video. That's kind of like that's where the strength of YouTube really, really shines, because that kind of separates you from making like general stuff only, to where anything that you make, whether it's general, specific, hot take, or whatever, it's like it's just like leaking with thought leadership just because you know your shit so well.
And I really like this answer because I think that people too often jump into messaging. Do you know? Like they're like,
Mhm.
I'm going to work on my messaging, but they don't have their offer solidified or they don't know who they're speaking to. And it's like
Mhm.
these things, there are things that need to come first before you can do the next step, right? And it's like with your marketing, you can start talking about your business before you're fully clear, you know, like doing your market research and like figuring out and ironing out your messaging. But you won't get there until you have like a certain amount of data or a certain amount of experience to be able to fully convey your message, which is where like you want to be able to convey it to be able to get on YouTube. And something that I think people end up doing, and probably like leads to the statistic of no one makes it past 7 episodes, but I think they start podcasts because they think it's easier. And maybe because there's no video, they think they can get away with it. But I know I've seen you talk several times on Threads about podcasts not being a lead generation marketing strategy or a top of funnel marketing strategy, whereas YouTube is more for the lead generation as it's related to search and people being able to find you through it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and your explanations on why you think that, like, yeah.
We're going to get into this, but quite simply, a podcast is an audio file. You can't, like, you listen to it. You cannot find it. It is an audio file on a RSS feed. That's literally what it is, y'all. So it is. So if you're using that for lead generation, you are going to be working 3 times as hard than you would if you were to invest time and energy and resources into a platform that is designed for discoverability, for searchability, you know? And so, but that doesn't mean that podcasts are bad. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be talking on a podcast right now if I thought that they were crap, you know what I'm saying? But they play a role in your marketing strategy. And that's the kind of the mistake that a lot of business owners make, because they don't, most times they're not thinking in terms of like a funnel or a marketing ecosystem. They're thinking, I do this and I should be getting this. And that's just not how people work. That's not even how they work, but they think that that's how their leads should work. And so what typically happens is that a podcast is very like middle of funnel, right? So this is when people already know who you are, they've heard about you, and they are really thinking about hearing more about what you have to offer, like your like kind of like unique way a little bit more. Like you've got them through the door, and now they're kind of like, okay, let me figure out if this person can help me with what I need. So they're really in their like decision making era, right? When they're trying to listen to like your podcast, right? When it comes to a top of funnel strategy, you need to be discoverable. You need to get people that you need to meet people where they are. And so something like YouTube is a great top of funnel strategy because they are leveraging the search engine. Right, YouTube is the second largest search engine and it's owned by the first, Google. You are literally able to double dip on YouTube with the YouTube algorithm and YouTube search, and then also Google search. Like there's so many of my videos that can be found in Google search. like just this week I posted a YouTube video 6 days ago, and it already got 300 views, and most of those views came from Google search. Okay. And that is like, that's something that you're not able to do with a audio file. And so when we think about what role top of funnel platforms play, like Pinterest, blogging, speaking, even like YouTube and all these other things, like things that help you reach people and then have them and then bring them into your world, those are top of funnel. A podcast cannot do that unless you are working really, really hard to make it happen. And that's what's really happening for some people. And that's probably why they don't get past that 7 episodes, because they realize this is a lot more harder than what I thought, when really, if we just treated it as the middle of funnel tool that it is meant to be, you wouldn't have to work as hard as what you're doing now, because you're going to be feeding people to it anyway through your top of funnel content. Once they find you, once you shake hands with them, that's when you start giving them more content that's in your podcast.
And something about like being top of funnel and middle of funnel is it changes the type of content that you're going to be sharing, right? Like you can talk about the same topics, but like you said with YouTube, if you're doing how-to videos on your podcast, you're going to go at it from a different angle because they most likely already know you.
Yes.
And also there's no visuals, or at least people aren't usually watching the videos. So if you need to show something, it doesn't work the same. And so I know like podcast managers can come for me. It's not searchable in the same way. You can search only a title of a podcast episode, and even that isn't ranking top on Google.
Right.
Like blog posts, YouTube videos are going to come up before a podcast title on Google search. But
well, I can tell you this, and I don't give a damn what podcast manager comes for me, because I've been hiding in the shadows for far too long, and I am ready to be unhinged. I'm in my unhinged era. But the only way for your podcast title to be pulled up and to rank for a search is if the word podcast is in the search term that they're searching. If you go to Google right now, type in maybe like your podcast title, if it's not some long tail like thing, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to see a lot of like YouTube videos and blog articles, right? But if you type in that same keyword or like that same like title-esque thing, and then put podcast beside it, then Google is going to show you podcasts. So if it has to have the word podcast in it. So even in that thing, people have to know that they are trying to consume a podcast. People who watch podcasts are intentionally choosing to watch podcasts. When people are searching for help for something, they don't give a damn which medium it is in. They are searching to say, give me the best information that I could possibly find.
Yeah, and the fastest way I can find it a lot of the times too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to scroll through your whole episode hitting like fast forward 15 seconds trying to find the moment where you actually talk about the thing I want to know about.
Exactly.
Where like YouTube makes it easy to like scroll a transcript, and same like blog posts, you can scroll to the information you want. And even YouTube with the chapters, you can jump ahead really easily to find the exact answer you were looking for when you type that in.
Yeah, and YouTube searches that transcript, and most times when you search, they will identify exactly in the transcript where they said whatever search term that you typed in, and they will take you to that exact moment.
Yeah, I know like when I search on Google, it has the marker on the YouTube video of like where to start the video when you click play based off of whatever I typed in to find that video.
Yeah. So I think it's just one of those things where, I mean, I'm not like, it's just, we just have to be serious, like be real about what's happening. It doesn't mean that people that have podcasts are doing things wrong. I'm saying, could you be more happier with your podcast if you treated it like, if you used it in the way that they are best leveraged, you know, versus trying to use it for lead generation? Because the way that you can leverage a podcast for lead generation, it takes a lot of work, right? You have to do a lot of like maybe even like guest episodes. You have to continuously find people. You have to continuously get that host to promote your podcast. You know what I'm saying? And you have to hope that you ask them questions that are good enough that makes them want to share it. You see all that fucking work already, and I haven't even gotten to writing a fucking blog post yet. You know what I'm saying? Or even promoting your own damn podcast.
No, I get it, because I definitely started my own podcast thinking that this was going to bring leads into my business. And halfway through the first season, I was like, oh, I'm so wrong. Like, only my existing audience is listening to this, and they only listen when I talk about it and tell them to go listen to it. And the differences between me and the people who quit is I fell in love with podcasting, so I kept my show and I put it in its place of middle of funnel content.
Yes.
But I think that's where a lot of people quit because they get frustrated and they don't actually love it. So they're like, why am I wasting my time on this?
This takes me down to another. I hope that we're not getting on a tangent. I'm so sorry, but this kind of takes me down to another part of solopreneurs or even small businesses, is that we don't look at the data. Like something that you just said right now, you said that I'm realizing that my built-in audience are the ones that are watching my podcast, right? Most people that realize that, they don't know what to do with that information, right? But it's like, okay, if you already know that people that already know you and already like you, right, and are interested in you, are watching your podcast, then that one is middle of funnel, right, already. And so you think about, okay, how can I get them from middle of funnel to bottom of funnel?
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, then I should be talking about things that are going to help them like shift even more perspectives, combat even more objections, right? Bring on things that they're thinking about that they probably want, but they don't know how it will work with like offers that I have, right? So like, you do repurposing. Someone's trying to think about how to use YouTube. You don't fucking do YouTube, but you're like, look, bring on this YouTube expert into my podcast. Here you go. This is how it can work. This is how things play. That makes it so much easier for them to feel safer to make a decision to hire you. You know what I'm saying? That kind of shit is the stuff that people care about when they get through this section. There's so many things that you can talk about that is so interesting, that could make your podcast do like amazing things for your built-in audience. And when people find you from other platforms, when you link them to podcast episodes or anything like that, when they first come into your ecosystem, they're going to latch onto that too. And so you're kind of moving them through that journey very easily. So it's just like, look at the data, see what you can see, what is happening, and then think a little bit strategically on how you can leverage that information,
Yeah, and this is where there's the marketing strategy versus just creating content conversation. But
Mhm.
like, we're not going to get into it
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I know that it's a struggle, but it's also a whole episode in itself.
yeah.
I know that you talk about going live as part of a YouTube
Mhm.
strategy. I've seen your videos.
Yes.
And so I'm curious if you can explain to the people, like, why do you like that? Why do you believe it works? Why do you recommend it? What's your take?
So it's a few folds really, and it's super cool. So I love going live, and most of my clients really do enjoy going live because one, it eliminates that barrier to editing first, right? But also when it comes to selling or collapsing the time that it takes for someone to get comfortable or confident in making a decision to buy from you, going live really does accelerate that process, right? And so just think about it, how if you are on live and you are teaching something or talking about something, and they can get questions answered in real time, they are getting perspective shift in real time. You're probably even combating objections without you even knowing it at times, and you probably have a few use cases or a few stories to share that will help them solidify their decisions, right? And so all this is just like you're accelerating this trust factor, this confidence of buying factor, right? And so it's like people are able to make decisions better when they hear from you in like real time, right? It's kind of like you're doing like a little sales call, but live, right?
With multiple
And
people.
yeah, and so I totally recommend doing a live at least like once a month about like some kind of topic that you think would be really interesting for your audience, and then find ways to introduce your offers or to get people to consider it, right? Don't just like have a live and just talk about the topic? Like, what are some ways for you to get them to that next step, to that no-brainer next step, right? Yes, it could be a lead magnet, but sometimes on like lives, I like to focus on a paid offer, and to get it front and center to them, right? Because sometimes if they have questions about it, I'll answer the question on the live call, and oh my god, it just helps accelerate everything.
And so you're not going live just like, "Hey guys, what's up? What should we talk about?" Like you have a plan, you have a
Mhm.
topic. Like, do you have a script, like
Yes.
bullet points at least before you jump on that live?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So I treat going live very similarly to how we do regular videos, right? It
Mhm.
just has that live element. So like maybe I'm talking to the audience a little bit more. Maybe I'm doing more like in the moment things, right? But I still have a plan of what I want to say. I still have a topic in mind, because I want people to know. I want people to want to like attend, right?
Mhm.
I want them to want to attend live and not just catch the replay. And so I want to make sure that they're not just coming here for a Q&A. Although I have done a Q&A and like it has been like great, but for the most part, I have it around some kind of topic that I think would be really intriguing for them to want to learn about live and to want to not learn live, but also ask questions live, right? I want to find ways to get them to actually engage in the live.
And so after your live, do you edit the videos at all, or do you just post them to your account?
So it will really depend. It
Mhm.
really depends, but for the most part, I don't edit the live streams because it's already structured pretty well. But I do optimize it like how I would do all videos so that the live can, get some more longevity, and so I don't edit it, but there are times where I would, right? So and this could be like a repurposing part, like where you don't have to do it like right then and there because the live stream is good on its own. But let's just say like maybe you talked about a few things. Let's cut those things up into maybe like 3 or 4 minute individual YouTube videos and have those run on their own as well, and so that's kind of like after you have done this, that maybe you'll start like leveraging it in another way. I call that probably like level uh 2 or 3, right? Level 1 is just showing up live and structuring
Mhm.
the live in a way that is engaging. And then level 2 is, okay, maybe you want to like repurpose the whole video and like maybe go ahead and like edit the whole video, post it as an on-demand video. Level 3 is like, okay, we have the whole video, but like maybe we don't want to have a whole like 30-minute like video, right? Maybe there are individual questions that we could get to rank in the YouTube search individually, and we can just make different cuts of that and optimize those sections individually as separate videos.
I love that. That's so smart. Obviously, I'm like a little bit fanatic for repurposing, but I think that's so smart. And because, like, personally, I find YouTube intimidating. And the reason I find it intimidating is because of the editing.
Mhm.
And you see these people make all these edits of like zoom in, zoom out, pop ups every 5 seconds, sound effects, all these like moving pieces. And I'm just like, that's a lot of work. Like, I am not a professional video editor. I am just trying to market my business. So do you like do you think that the fancy editing, the extra editing is necessary? Do you think it's on its way out? Like, what do you see? If we're not like influencers trying to be like super cool people, we're just trying to be like business owners selling our business.
Yeah. So I think this is one of the things that become such a huge barrier for some business owners
Mhm.
because they look at the Gary V's, the Vanessa Lau's, the insert the Aaron on demands, and they think, man, I can't go on YouTube unless I have this level of editing like skill, or I can hire an editor to do all these things, but you don't really have to do that. They have made it, they have they're on a different level than you, just to be quite honest. Like how dare you compare yourself to Vanessa Lau? You know what I'm saying? How dare you? You know, like you she going through a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? She doing a lot. We just trying to get us a bag, you know what I'm saying? And so the good news is that you do not have to do so much. Like even in my consulting program, the Low Lift Club, we have a YouTube video like editing course. It's called Low Lift Editing. And it actually has 5 different levels of editing. And the way that I structured it is because, like, depending on their their uh their capacity or their skill level, they could stop at any level and still have a very professional looking video, right? And so the level one is just them doing some of like the foundational editing things that you would have to do, right? And then we build on top of it in level 2, 3, 4, and 5. But if you only have time for level 1, that's good. If you want to do level 1, 2, cool. 1, 2, 3, cool. But you get to stop wherever you start being like, I'm ready to tap out. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it level 5 all the time, you know? And so that was kind of my way of making editing a lot more approachable for business owners, so that they could manage their own expectations, but also have the guidance in what their videos could look like or what goals they could set on their own terms.
I love that because I think it's removing a massive barrier
Mhm.
because, like you said, one of what I would say is one of YouTube's biggest barriers is the video editing. Being an average creator, an average entrepreneur, like we don't have professional video editing. I don't have all of the apps or whatever they use,
Yeah.
like that's outside my skill set and I'm not really interested in learning the skill set. So I love that Low Lift Club has such an accessible editing program or
Mhm.
module feature for the people to be able to make it work for their skill levels. The last question I wanted to ask you, and I think we're probably going to continue off of this, but is if someone is considering YouTube, where do you recommend they start?
Mm. I would recommend starting. When you say start, like, there's so
Like,
many ways I could go with this.
if someone is listening to this episode and they're like, okay, YouTube sounds cool, I need a new lead generation platform, what do
Mhm.
you think they should look at in their own marketing to decide if it's right for them? And
Mhm.
after, if they've like qualified themselves, yes, they're good to go, where would you recommend they start with getting onto YouTube?
Yeah. So, first things first, if you are considering adding YouTube into your marketing ecosystem, I would first see if you have the capacity. So the way that I teach inside of my program is that you only need 4 to 5 hours a month to make that happen. So if you have an hour a week to commit to YouTube, then you should be good to go. Um, Now, if you're doing this up on your own, there's a few things that you need to have for your YouTube channel. And I would recommend some type of lead magnet for lead generation. I would also recommend I would also recommend, like, obviously some type of like content strategy, some like a way, like, you need to know more about your ideal clients, right? So you need to have an intimate knowledge of your target audience. Like, what questions are they asking? What's keeping them up at night? What are some of the things that they don't that they think are solutions, but they're really just band-aids, right? And so I talk about a lot of this on my YouTube channel. So I would also recommend them just go into my YouTube channel and start binging up like a bunch of stuff, because I talk about that whole content strategy as well. But that's what I would start out with. But honestly, I'm gonna plug myself because I think the Lilith Club is a great place for people to get started at, because we work through all that stuff, even building channels from scratch. All Most of my members have started their channel from scratch in the program and are already generating like leads and sales with YouTube through my program and through like our strategy that we work through together. And so if you want to start YouTube and do it the right way, or like have like really good support and a strategist in your corner, then you need to join the Low Lift Club, or at least hire someone or be with someone who knows YouTube from the business owner perspective, not the influencer side, because you're going to end up doing a lot of shit that you don't want to do if you hire someone just because they are doing amazing things up on YouTube because they are using it as a content creator.
And I think that's something really important to take in account, is just because someone has a YouTube account and it's like has great views or has a lot of followers, subscribers, doesn't mean that you should look to them for advice if you're you're a business owner wanting to start, because it's a very different strategy. And I think that's the same for a lot of different marketing things, is like, you know, we get opinions from our family members of like, you shouldn't post this, or why don't you talk about that? And it's like, well, you're not running a business. Like,
Yeah.
you don't look at the same things I do. You don't have to take in account the same things I do when you put up a video on TikTok. Is there anything else you would like to add for the people?
Yeah, I think I probably didn't get into this a little bit at all, I don't think, on this podcast, but I want to kind of really let them know like the difference between the influencer and the YouTube for business model.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why, because a lot of them may see this and they may say, well, I really want to share my behind the scenes and I really want to share these things. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is like, I'm not saying that you cannot vlog. I'm not saying that you cannot do certain elements, but what I'm saying is that it needs to be around um, helpful content for your business. Like a vlog can totally be helpful content, but you know what typically happens? Y'all want to vlog and y'all don't know how to structure the vlog. And then you spend all this time and energy and resources with this little like day in my life, and it's not doing anything. And so if you do like a vlog and you want to share these things, make sure that it has like a consistent theme and that it's answering and it's giving value. Like people who don't know you will want to still watch it. Right?
Yeah.
Most of the time when people are vlogging, they have built some type of base of people who want to see them do stuff, and they know that in that video that they're going to get something out of it. So you have to really think about that. And so when we're thinking about the influencer route, these influencers and content creators are using YouTube for a different way. They're trying to get monetized, or they are monetized, meaning that they are getting a percentage of ad revenue each time someone watches a video and an ad is shown. So their goal is to get as many views on their videos as possible, because the more views you have per thousand, you get a higher like cut of ad revenue. So it doesn't really matter who watches per
Mm-hmm.
se. I mean, it does, but like it doesn't. But for us, we need the right kind of people to watch our content. And we need to show up for people who are actively intentionally searching for a solution. And our goal is to get people to our channel and then to get them off of YouTube and into our sales funnels. And so we are leveraging YouTube a little bit different. Like, yes, we are still playing the game of the YouTube algorithm, and we're creating all of this content strategy that I teach up on my channel to like create that binge funnel and stuff. But each video is structured differently so that it's a powerful marketing asset that can stand on its own and will get people to take action after watching it. And so not all influencer videos do that. And so there's a specific way that we have got to structure our videos in order to make them really good marketing assets for us in the long term.
I completely agree. I feel like it's the content creation versus marketing strategy conversation of
Yes,
like,
yes.
you can create content, but is there a strategy behind it? So, if I think there's been a lot of good information shared, I think definitely go listen or go watch the YouTube channel. But where can the people find you? What are you up to? What do you want them to know?
Definitely subscribe to my channel on YouTube at Jamar Diggs, but also feel free to follow me up on Instagram and Threads, same handle at Jamar Diggs. I also have a free 90-minute YouTube quick start guide that will help you jumpstart your YouTube channel if you're like started from scratch. I also have a free YouTube marketing assessment where if you have a channel and you're not getting the results that you want, this assessment will give you personalized feedback on what your opportunities are and hopefully will give you some type of idea of how you should move forward. So definitely take a look at those, and when you're ready, join the Low Lift Club. It is the place to be if you are looking to really launch or revive your channel, build consistency, and turn viewers into paid clients. Okay, so definitely learn more about that. I'm sure there are going to be links to these things inside of the show notes and stuff, but so just click everything, honey.
I love that. Everything will be linked in the show notes. And the last question that I always ask my guests is, what makes you an unprofessional entrepreneur?
Oh, I will cuss a bitch out quickly. I am quick to say my opinion. I am so unhinged at times, but the people that know me, they know that it's really just for like laughs, and that whatever I say, I do mean it like with like care. You know, I'm not just going to like hurt someone's feelings, but it'll be so it's just so funny how I like respond to things.
I mean, I think your answer to the question was a good example.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm really excited to get this episode into the hands because I'm like all about no more guru marketing strategies in 2025. We're done with the like post 3 times a day games.
Yeah.
But
Forget that.
thank you for coming. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you all next week.